And appreciate everybody's turnout today, the attendance and support. Really appreciate that. Couple Boys does a great job putting this on. Band Spirit Squad, 2 prizes this morning. You guys got your quota, so congratulations on that. And, just a great event. Doug, thanks for joining us and your kind words. And somebody said Mike Daniels is tearing it up. I don't get to watch much pro football right now, but Mike was a ball of fire, ball of energy, and not surprised there certainly. And Stewart family, great to see you guys, and appreciate your continued support. The award honoring your husband, just a great thing, and obviously Lance is a very fitting award recipient, so great to have you guys here as well. You know, Matt Kroll, what can I tell you about Matt Kroll? And I think Scott hit on one thing. Matt won a lot of awards when he was here, and it's an interesting career path that he had. Was not highly recruited. He's like a lot of guys that we've had come here and have become successful. Small town Iowa guy. Matt didn't play defensive line in high school, was a linebacker, fullback, and just a really good high school football player. And we weren't quite sure where he'd fit, where he'd end up, but we were pretty sure that he'd end up being the guy that would really help our football team. And as things evolved, you know, we had an outstanding defensive line in 04, 4 guys that were really good players. They were all seniors. And the next year, you know, we're starting from scratch again, and Matt and Mitch King both emerged as defensive tackles. Both had different paths getting there, and both had very different styles of play. But you know, Mitch a lot of times would be a little flashier and gain more attention. But I think that stat that Scott hit on, the 50 straight starts, and I think I'd couple that with, I'm not sure he ever missed a play in practice. Talk about dependability, and it was all because of his work ethic, his leadership qualities, etc., that ended up garnering him a lot of awards. He was just one of those guys you can count on day in and day out. So, you know, to me, when I think about guys that have come through our program that really personify everything that's good about what we're trying to get done, certainly Matt is, you know, one of the first people I think about. And I'll talk a little bit more about him later on, but a couple things too. Lizzie, first of all, I was just talking about bacon, you know, bacon grease the other day, cooking with that. My mom did that all the time. Looks like it's worked pretty well for you, Lizzie. A lot of that stuff's kind of overblown, so great to And then the A&F theme, you know, certainly, I'll tell you, what a list of recipients this is going to be, you know, 10 years down the road. It's unbelievable, the candidates that are out there. There's no question Matt's going to be one of those guys. I remember doing the home visit recently. I went out on a Sunday afternoon. Matt was thrilled to death because we got him out of chores that day. It was a December, January day, so he got a couple hours off, got to be in where it was warm, and after that, I know my wife was out at the farm, and John had to get a machine to take. She goes, "Where would you get this machine?" Well, Matt went to college. We had to, you know, get this machine so we get the work done around here. But unbelievable guy. Great to have certainly a couple former Hawks here. Already mentioned Matt Rogers being here, and Matt did a great job certainly during his career. My last year was his first year as a starter, and it wasn't all peaches and cream. It was an up and down year for us. We ended up 5-9, and then I think everybody is well aware of what happened after that. As Matt grew, it just the experience paid off for him. He had 2 outstanding years. So, Matt, great to have you back here. Matt's son's Kyle is a student here and doing a great job. And then on the other side of the room, Malcolm Christie. I remember going to Malcolm's high school, and from the gym office there at Malcolm's school, you could look across to the Statue of Liberty. So obviously he's an East Coast guy, now he's on the other coast and doing a wonderful job. Malcolm was here during the 80s as well, and comes back frequently. He's doing a lot of work with the university, and he's going to speak to our first year players today and just give them a little life advice. So great to have both of you guys here. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Also wanted great to have you here, and I like your attitude about where we're going here. So hopefully may have you speak to the team a little bit later on. Get that going. One other current event, just touch on real quickly. Graduation success rates came out yesterday. You may have seen the release. I don't know if it's out. I assume it is this morning. And all of our teams did an excellent job again. That's something that's really been on a very positive roll, certainly, and we're proud of where our football team has done. They came in with an 81% mark, which puts us 3rd in the Big Ten again. I think it's 3 or 4 straight years in a row. We're averaging right around about 82 over the last 3 years. So it puts us 3rd in the Big Ten, puts us 2nd if we were in the SEC or Big 12, we'd be 2nd. So it just, I think, is representative. It's not just football, but it's all of our programs. You know, the student athletes come here. They compete, they work extremely hard in their given sports. They're also doing a great job in the classroom and really getting what is the most significant thing any of them do when they come to college and coming out with a degree. Thank you. Scott mentioned it's been 3 weeks, a long time since we've been together here, and lots happened. Obviously, it was a tough loss against Michigan State. Scott said they've really been playing good defense. They had another shutout last week, had another defensive touchdown. I think they got 5 or 6, I believe, which is really unheard of. But they're playing great defense. They're a one-loss team and doing very well. We had a bye week, which I thought our team really handled well. Yeah, and bye weeks can be a little bit tricky. Matt can tell you. It's a little bit like a bowl game in some ways. When you don't have a game right in front of you, it's really tough sometimes to go out and practice and concentrate the way you need to. And I think our guys really handled that well. And then certainly last week it was disappointing to lose the football game, but there was a lot of positives that came out of it. And most importantly, I think our guys prepared for the game well, and then they certainly competed as hard as they could, and we came up short in that second half. So, that's disappointing, but we're certainly moving on. And I think the other thing maybe that's positive from my standpoint, at least now we've had 3 games on the road, and we've won 2, lost 1, but in all 3 cases I think the team's really handled the environment well, they've practiced well, and as Matt can tell you too, just part of being successful home or away is just the attitude the team takes from Thursday to game time. That's sometimes is easier said than done as well. So I think some good things are going on there. And one thing I'm very encouraged about, this ties in directly to Matt Kroll. Back in 2008, we had a team coming off a disappointing season, and it was a little bit up and down during the first portion of the season. We were 3-3 at one point, 5-4 at one point, then ended up winning 9 games and ended up ranked nationally. And it's all about the leadership. It's all about the work ethic, the way guys show up every day, the attitude that they possess, and it starts at the top. And when I say the top, it's your older players. They're the ones that set the tempo. Think about guys like James Morris or Brett Van Sloten, 2 other guys from smaller towns in Iowa, if you will, not the largest class, but were good high school players, and set a great example on a daily basis. And that's exactly what Matt did with the 2008 team. That's why he's such a valuable member of that football team. And see some of those things going on right now. So I'm encouraged about the way the guys have gone so far, the way they've worked, and obviously now it's about what we do moving forward. And it's going to be great to be back home tomorrow. We've got a great challenge playing Northwestern, a very good football team. Our captains going into the game are the same 4 guys that we've had. We've got James Morris, Chris Kirk defensively, Brett Van Sloten, and Mark Weissman offensively. And again, tying with the defensive line theme, Carl Klug is back. A guy that really is a lot like Matt. Carl played after Matt left and was a young player with Matt, obviously, but took a starting role after Matt left and was a key player on that 08 team as well. A guy that weighed, whatever he was, 208 pounds. He's a running back. Matt was a fullback in high school, but developed into an outstanding football player. So it's going to be great to have Carl back as well. As I said, Northwestern's a good football team, very good football team, very talented. It's interesting if you look back, it really became a significant player in the Big Ten in the mid-90s and had a very different style of play then, and they've really evolved beginning in 2000. They've evolved in terms of their style of play, but they know who they are, who they want to be. They recruit well to that, and they've had different types of quarterbacks. Currently, they're one of the few teams I've ever seen that play with 2 different quarterbacks that are not only different, but they're very different in terms of the kind of players they are. One guy's a very elusive, good runner who's developed into a good passer, and the other guy's a very good passer who's developed into a pretty good runner. So, it's just interesting what they've done. But the bottom line is they've done a great job, that they're well coached, and their players play hard. So it'll be a great challenge for us. Beyond that, certainly, we're in late October now. And this is a real important time in football. All the preseason talk and speculation, that stuff really doesn't mean much right now in some of the early season games that you see take place. They mean something, but this is a long road in football, and this is certainly when things really come into play. So, we're excited to get back on the field. Our focus is on that next step, which is playing a very, very good opponent, Big Ten opponent. And bottom line, it's going to be a great challenge for us, but a great opportunity. So we're excited to get out there. We'll try to finish our preparation today and be ready to go at kickoff, and look forward to seeing all of you at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Thanks very much.